The next match we got is Orange Cassidy defending the AEW International Championship against Roderick Strong. And I don't remember too much of the details. I remember it was a pretty intense match here and there with Cassidy and all that. But yeah, after a long reign here, Cassidy dropped the title, and Roderick Strong is the new international championship. And I mean, I didn't think too much of it because I never really, because before the whole jealous boyfriend thing with MJF, I forgot all about Roderick Strong. Like that story kind of put him on the map for me and everything. But it is true, like what Cornette and them are saying. You can't build him up as a goof clown, whatever. But all of a sudden, oh, he's the one that took down Cassidy when like Moxley and all these other guys couldn't. You know what I mean? Like
with a Samoa Joe.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it'd be like Danhausen taking down Samoa Joe after him being established as Danhausen. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, how about, I got a worse one. I got a worse one. How about Dalton Castle? Not Dalton Castle, but the boys defending Samoa Joe. You know.
No. The boys taking down FTR.
The boys taking down FTR. I was gonna say Samoa Joe in a handicap match or something, but yeah, okay, the boys taking down FTR. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that would be crazy. I mean, that would be as stupid as having Will Ospreay lose to Orange Cassidy. Oh wait, that happened.
No, wait.
Or Daniel Garcia beating Katsuyori Shibata. Oh wait, that also happened twice. I'm just saying, Khan's not the smartest when it comes to overall booking. He books faction over fan. He books faction over reality, and that's the truth of it. Is like he's going, what's gonna look cool, guys? Because I'm like you even said, in the same way, the reason we all knew Garcia wasn't going to be Cage, it's the same here, but in the opposite direction, because it's the opposite direction. Like, oh yeah, no one would be dumb enough to take the belt off of Cassidy over some rando match she's going to have. Oh, you actually were that stupid. Okay. Like,
also,
okay.
Cassidy had the number games against them and stuff. And what also was kind of dumb, that before the match, the best friends and them were like, they want to jump in, they'll help, they'll keep, the kingdom away or whatever. No, we're guys, I got this. I'll do it alone. No. Why are you stupid?
Right. No, I get that part. My main thing is the same thing that Johnny was saying in the earlier match. There's no build to it. So who cares? And then when they drop the belt, you're like, oh, apparently you don't care. Okay. All right. You're the one who doesn't care. Okay. All right. And it's also, the other thing is like, Cassidy has won and lost that belt so many damn times that I've lost count. I'm like, he is in every way, minus being actually funny, becoming AEW's R-Truth. There, I said it. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
R-Truth suddenly had a resurgence. All of a sudden, everyone loves him now, and he's super over, but they're not putting a belt on him, or at least a major belt.
Oh, sorry. I will say the other one that's in our chat now that I invited, we were talking about that at work the other day. We were talking about R-Truth and how he had never had a good, a really good push or, a good title run. And that's why she was like, who would you want to see do a title run or whatever? And that's why she chose him, because he's been there that long. He deserves something.
He does. Yeah. Well, it seems as though with that, on a side note, it seems like they're more than likely going to put him and Miz reunite because they've already been tagging together, and they're going to basically take the tag belts off of Judgment Day at Mania. That's at least what everyone is pretty much assuming is going to happen, which is like, cool. Hey, give them the tag belts. Cool. They could do some fun stuff with that. But anyway, my whole point I'm making is it's the same issue I have with people. When you convince your audience that this character, the problem with a character like Orange Cassidy is that you have him as both a clown and a serious wrestler. and it doesn't work. You can't
Hey,
have
when
them
he get his
both.
hands in the pockets, that means he means business.
You can't have it work both ways, which is one of the biggest criticisms of the guy. You can't have it work both ways. That's like having Judd Apatow, who's known for making comedies, directing the next Hostel film. Like, what the hell? Why? Like, what? Who approved this? Like, it's like that kind of mentality. I'm not saying he can't do it. It's more of, should he? Is this the right call you want to make? And people are like, man, Judd Apatow's brutal. I'm like, yeah, I know. Casting that guy in that one comedy, that was brutal. No, did you see him in Hostel? Oh, what? Like this guy? What? It's like that same mentality. You can't get me to, I'm sorry, you can't convince me that Orange Cassidy is an amazing wrestler. In the same breath, he's doing goofy shit. But if you're going to have a goofy character, keep him goofy. Or if you're going to have him be serious, have him drop the goofy character. Like, don't do both. Here's what you should have done. After that whole thing, that whole feud he had for the international belt. Is that what it is? International?
Yeah.
The international belt, when he first won it, have him drop the goofy character. He could do a variation of the Orange Cassidy character. Just drop the Cassidy part. Just be Orange. And then I'm just Orange, man. This is just who I am. And like, he could still do the gimmicky thing he could still do the pocket thing, but he could be like dead serious, like have more emotion, have more anger, make him, do something with him. You could do stuff with him. But when you play it off to the point where he's cool because he doesn't care, that character, you can't have a character that doesn't care and cares about a belt. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
It's the same reason why I said about MJF's character didn't work as a good guy, because his character is that he's a greedy, self-entitled asshole. How is that a good quality of a person? Like, what is that good about? It's like, I'll tell you why I'm such a great guy. I've stolen so much shit and I've burned multiple buildings. That's why I'm such a nice guy. Go back. What?
Yeah,
Like, that's kind of that mentality.
That'd been like turning Andy Kaufman into a face character.
Okay.
Like, that's
Yeah.
literally what it was.
Yeah. It was like turning $1 Million Man into a good guy. That's literally what they did.
Yeah.
I thought of MJF's character in the same way I thought of $1 Million Man. $1 Million Man never could work as a good guy
No.
because he's the $1 Million Man. His whole gimmick is that he's a self-entitled dick.
Everybody
But-
has a price.
Yeah. But like I said, I really didn't care about this match at all. And when that shows you the problem. When the belt got off of Cassidy, I don't know a single person who cared that belt wasn't on him. I don't know a single person like, no. Everyone's like, okay.
Yeah, that's about right.
All right.
I was a little surprised, but I was like, oh, okay.
It's kind of more like
like,
someone telling you. I had more of a reaction if I was eating French fries and found out that they were sweet potato fries. It would be that more. I would have more investment in that than this match. It's like, oh, hey, you know those chicken wings you were eating? That was actually cauliflower. Oh, okay. Like, it's kind of like that. That's more of an investment than I had in this match. But enough of my.
But yeah, that totally was just it was a match where it was just like, there was no build up to it. There was nothing leading up to it. It's just like, okay, it happened. Then the title was taken away from him. It was like, okay, that happened. One thing I did notice though, like the whole cool gimmick of Orange Cassidy wasn't there the entire match. Like the whole match, it was just full speed, balls to the wall. He wasn't, he didn't put his hands in his pockets like even once, or even try to put his shades back on. Everything was at full movement, which is kind of hinting that maybe he is trying to get away from the character, but he's not getting away from it fast enough. They need to just go ahead and just do a complete overhaul on Cassidy. If he's going to be a fast wrestler, let him be a full-paced fast wrestler. and have an attitude, not be, well, I don't care about anything, but I care about this title. No, you can't have him do that. And also, one other thing that made him different between, like, R-Truth. R-Truth has a little bit more charisma about him. I mean, let's face it. He took a completely whack title, which was the 24/7 title, and actually made it entertaining. Like, people actually started giving a damn about a title that, for all intents and purposes on the WWE roster,
Pointless.
shouldn't and doesn't really exist. And he actually rocked the hell out of it and actually made it entertaining and made it funny. Orange Cassidy, here he is. He literally has the equivalent of an Intercontinental title, and it's to the point that nobody cares. He could have just been holding a cheese sandwich in his backpack and it would have been the same effect. Like, nobody really gave a shit. And again, with this match, I didn't really give a shit. I know I probably put Cassidy in there for the win. Why? Because I didn't give a shit. It just, I didn't really care enough about this match to even really, like, look into it. And that's being brutally honest. And I know that's sad. I know that sounds harsh. But unless they change Cassidy up in some way, shape, or form, that's pretty much how it's going to stick with me. Like, I didn't really care about the match anyway.
Yeah, I also had the same opinion. I wasn't really too interested in this match. It's just like Orange Cassidy, like whatever, like okay, cool. And I don't know, it's pretty much like what Jack Knife said. It's like they want to make him serious, but at the same time, they still want to keep him goofy. Like they still want to keep his gimmick, and you can't. I don't know. Sometimes you just got to pick one thing or the other. You can't just be like goofy 90% of the time. Then, because it's this match, all of a sudden he's trying to be more serious or more whatever. And then the next match is going to go back to his goofy stuff. You can't do that with a wrestler. Like it just doesn't work that way. Like, for example, the reason why Dalton Castle works is because his gimmick is very consistent.
Yes.
And he has a very good character build-up. And he does both. He balances out both aspects of him pretty well.
Yeah.
So he's a very good technical wrestler. And he's also city. He has his gimmick. But it works because that's his whole, like, I don't know, his whole being, like that's just him. And with Orange Cassidy, I feel like now they don't even know what to do with him at certain points. And one thing I have to say is that can AEW just stop doing matches with wrestlers that are terribly injured? Because wasn't Orange Cassidy, like, injured throughout this whole body? Like, the ribs was all covered up with the... whatever that shit is.
I remember someone online was saying, I've seen more, like, it was like, I've seen more tape
than an Amazon package.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just like so terribly injured. And it's like, damn, like AEW, they just keep injuring their wrestlers. They don't give them enough time to heal properly. And they keep fighting these next matches, still being all like beaten up and shit. It's like, I don't know. I just feel a certain way about that after a while.
I was wondering with the taping up and all of that. I mean, I know the dude is probably, it was like, like that, but I was wondering if they added more tape just for that extra effect on him. But I was like, oh my God, that looks terrible. So I was saying, you know what? He doesn't care. Tony Khan doesn't care because think about it. For a gimmick, remember, Adam Cole got the okay. I mean, it was a story though, but the okay to fight to defend MJF's title, and he had like an angle that busted up in like 5 places. I mean, but he got the okay from Tony to do so. I mean, I thought that was so stupid and unbelievable in all ways possible.
It would be like the equivalent of Mark about to have a street fight with a person, and then Mark gets injured. Like Mark gets injured, and I had just came out of the ER from being hit by a bus, and I go, I could do it. Like, it's the equivalent of that.
And Williams like, book it.
All I can say
Like
is
my
that
arm's like my arm is dangling off the side, like it's all backwards. Like, put me in, coach.
I hope they have a real good workers' comp in AEW or a good health
With
insurance.
that whiskey there, Jack.
Because I don't know, man. I just feel a certain way that a lot of wrestlers are terribly injured, and they keep allowing them. They keep giving them the okay. Yeah, you can still fight this match, and it's like, no, you can't. But they still choose to do so, and it's like, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. Like, damn.
Yeah,
Tony Khan doesn't care about his wrestlers.
yeah, I definitely agree with that, and that's the problem. And thing with Cassidy's character is like, he's supposed to continually fight regardless of everything, because he just doesn't care, which means his health. He doesn't care about his health either. So I guess Tony's like, oh, I'm cool with it because Orange Cassidy is my favorite action figure. But the winner of this match was
Roderick Strong.
which I'm pretty sure a lot of people were surprised about, because like Jack said, we expected it to go in the other direction. So the only person who actually got a point for this one was Jack, because everybody else went with Orange Cassidy. Because we all know that Orange Cassidy is what's-his-face's favorite action figure.
No boy.
It's Golden Boy.
Mm-hmm.
But at least now it gives Roderick Strong a chance to establish himself a bit further, because of course he has to defend the title.
And of
That's
course,
the
they
one.
only did that because, Undisputed Kingdom, they're trying to win all the titles.
Mm-hmm. So next up, we got a tag team match here. We got FTR, Dax Harwood, and Cash Wheeler going up against the Blackpool Combat Club, Moxley, Claudio. In this case, it's Claudio and Moxley, because I guess no one cares about Wheeler Utah anymore. And
He's injured.
no one cares about Wheeler Utah anymore. So anyways, it's a pretty intense match. I don't remember too many details, except that surprisingly, I think Wheeler got busted open instead of Moxley. Moxley, hey, that's supposed to be me, man, or whatever, So we got a bit of blood there. And of course, Moxley is always, he has to take a bite out of the crime out of there. And I keep saying, like, he's a fucking vampire, man. The only reason he gets away with this is because he has to be a fucking vampire. And Tony Khan lets him do this stuff to have him placate his vampirism, But,
Okay.
yeah. Him and Adam Page are both fucking vampires. But anyways.
It's creepy. They don't want to walk around with the hepatitis. So anyway, just have a question for you, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
Please, explain my reaction to this match.
Oh, you were pissed. You were upset every time Moxley did anything.
But at the end of this match.
I think you were pissed off because they tapped out, and you hate when people tap out.
No, I just said my reaction. What was I doing with this reaction where I was so annoyed?
You're throwing things.
Oh no, I didn't do that. Not yet. I didn't get to that point.
No, I don't know. I remember you were upset because Moxley's team won, I believe, right?
Yes.
Moxley and Claudio. Oh, well, you did say that you're sick and tired of Claudio, and Claudio's also jump in the lake.
Oh yes, I'm sick of him now. No, I was screaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was screaming into a pillow. I was so pissed.
Oh, yeah.
And it took a while for that screaming to stop. I just like, okay. Okay. I don't want the neighbors to hear me. What? Okay, I'm done.
And then the bric-a-brac was flying around everywhere. But, the Wendy was not happy with that outcome. Well, yeah, it's a pretty good match, pretty intense and stuff. It just, ended the way it ended. But yeah, that was a good match there.
I don't know. I just hate the way FTR is being treated, honestly. I mean, they have skill, they have potential. What did they do
They're not Tony Khan's favorite action figures. He knows it's all about Super Moxley and I guess Claudio. Because remember how Tony Khan hugged Claudio extra tight.
Oh yeah.
They're not gonna push FTR anymore. I'm gonna call that because of the Cash Wheeler.
Cash problem.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
he's got talent.
I mean, you
he's
have
got
you
charisma,
have a
but they
guy.
both got felonies.
You have a guy who bleeds every time he steps in the ring, and a guy who literally made every match into a shoot match. So you, just kidding. I'm kidding. because the gun. That's the joke.
I see what you
Anyway. Anyway, but no, honestly though, I don't
But
really.
anyway, they started blasting.
Oh God.
No. And it was so funny because every time they keep making comments when the FTR are in a match, Excalibur unintentionally makes comments referring to a gun. And it's so funny. He's like, here's Wheeler firing out. It's like, no. Don't. And he's like, I remember one of the matches recently, they had him FTR, and then they said Wheeler is shooting. He's like, Wheeler is coming in shooting hot. It's like, no, shooting hot. No, shut up. Stop it. So I think they
know
are
what they're
trying to
doing.
rib those
They know
guys.
what they're doing.
They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
Let's be honest. If we were on commentary, at least one of us would have did something like that.
Oh man,
Not on the air.
I don't know how that came up with what y'all was saying.
Oh, worse yet, what would make that funnier is the next rivalry they have is FTR versus the Guns.
Oh my God. Yeah, but no, honestly, in all honesty, though, like I said, because of the
Wheeler's having trouble with the guns.
Yeah, exactly. Wheeler cannot handle the guns.
Wheeler just stops the super kick. The gun's been jammed.
Will FTR join the Bullet Club?
So Wheeler's having a little trouble with gun over there. It wouldn't be the first time.
It's like, come on, it's right there. Anyway, but my point of it is, the whole thing I'm saying is, though, because of that stuff with Wheeler, I don't think they're going to give any belts, because like that, I think that's the whole reason they put Starks and Big Bill gave them the titles, because that happened. And then apparently, I guess now Ricky Starks is allegedly, he's WWE bound from what everyone's telling me.
No, but okay, I can handle FTR not getting title shots for things. I don't want them losing all the time. And
No, I agree.
Not to these two.
No, what I mean is, and I'll save it for later.
Uh-oh.
But it feeds into my later narrative. It feeds into my later narrative. They are doing what's called punishment booking.
Oh yeah.
Will sees it. You know what I'm talking about. They're punishment booking FTR. Punishment booking, for those who don't know, is when a person does something IRL that makes the company or the title or whatever, or storyline or whatever, screwed up so badly that when they do have to put them back in, because they're already making the draw, they can't take you off TV because that would shoot them in the wallet. So instead they book it so you're booked to matches, but you always lose.
That's how I felt about
it. Happened with
how dare
it happened
with get a haircut without telling McMahon first.
That's one. Dolph Ziggler, he got punished a lot. Triple H, when he was Hunter Hearst Helmsley because of the curtain call.
Yeah.
There's a history of punishment booking.
Kofi Kingston was another big one. It took him close to what, 12 years before he even got another title shot?
What did he do?
He botched a move with Randy Orton, and Randy Orton pretty much buried him.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Oh, no, I remember what it was. It was, I remember. It was he set him up for, I remember what it was. He was supposed to hit him with the RKO. And then I guess Kingston slipped out of his arm by mistake. And then like Orton almost popped his arm out of his socket when he did it. And that's when you hear and then he beat the crap out of him, and then he hit him with the DDT, and that's when you get that famous scene of him going, "You stupid, stupid, stupid." That was him in real life doing that to Kingston. So he actually, yeah. But like I said, that's some of the thing. Look at I'm seeing it as FTR is getting punishment booking. And I'm not just there's a long history of it. But the point of it is I'm seeing FTR getting punishment booking. And it's true because it makes a lot of sense if you think about it. They don't want him to jump ship to WWE. But they're it's kind of like, it's like having a spouse or a friend who isn't telling you they're not talking to you, but they don't talk to you. So you just go, okay, well, you're not communicating with me. So I guess my only option is to leave, you know? And it's kind of like that. Like, I don't want you to leave, but I want you to leave kind of thing. I think that's kind of what they're doing. And that's
I
just
don't
my
want
opinion.
you to leave, so don't.
Mhm.
Wait, what? I know what you're saying though. Never made sense.
But honestly, the match itself, I barely remember it. I do remember Cash getting busted open.
It was Cash?
I just
The ball dude.
no, it was Dash. It was Dash. It was Dash. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it was Dash.
It was Dax the Axe. Because they can't call him Hardwood. You heard about that, right? You guys heard about that? So he was called Dax Harwood, and then one time during Collision, they messed up the graphic and put Hardwood with a D.
Hey,
And then so he went on Twitter. He's like, guys, just call me Dax the Axe from now on. So then he changed it to Dax the Axe.
the wife approved.
Yeah, he has kids.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna fight like a 12-year-old girl. Anyway, I'm sorry. Anyway, I yeah. Honestly, I don't really remember much about this match. It was just kind of there, but basically, I really do think that FTR is getting punishment booking, but that's just my opinion. I could be wrong.
And I think there's probably some truth in that. It's sort of like with Wardlow when he literally lost the belt, and it kind of, after he won, I forgot what belt did he win that time, and then
No, it was the he won the TNT belt, and then he lost, and then his car got broken into.
Oh,
yeah. And then after that, Wardlow was like, "Wait, huh? Who's Wardlow?"
It's so nice that they were able to punish Wardlow for doing that, but they didn't punish Jericho after the same thing happened to him with the world title.
Yeah, but that's Jericho.
Yeah,
Jericho's lost it like twice, literally.
Well, he's Jericho. Hey, Panda, what did you think of this match?
Man, honestly, it was just there. Like, only thing I remember, I kind of saw a frown on Moxley's face because he wasn't bleeding and Dax was. But that's just pretty much it. Like, it was just there. There weren't any real spots I remember too much out of the match. And again, I feel the same as Jack. I feel like they're just doing this for punishment. They're just gonna, job them out until their contract's done. And once the contract's done, it's off to the wolves. They're probably just gonna kick them off to the curb. Because I don't see any redemption arc from this because of what happened with Cash. Unfortunately, I mean, Cash decided he was going to take a note from the Arn Anderson School of Wrestling, and now he's paying for it. Long story short. But yeah, that's pretty much all it really is. They're just punishing them until it's time for their contract to be up.
Yeah.
And that's all this match really seemed like. There was nothing memorable. There were no major spots that I could review. It was just a match. Again, this could have probably been put on 0 Hour, and it would have made more sense.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny?
Yeah, about the FTR situation, this is that time that I actually do agree that they should, I don't know, maybe for once in wrestling, kind of try to separate the art from the person a little bit, because regardless of what they did in their personal life, FTR, they're still great talent, they're still great wrestlers, and I think they should have still won this match.
Yes.
And also because I have a little bit of biases as well, because I prefer a million times FTR winning this match compared to Jon Moxley. Like, I don't know what it is about Jon Moxley, but every match he's in is hella boring and super long. And they just drag the matches too long. And typically, Miss Moxley getting all bleeded up, but to my surprise, who was it? It was Cash, or was it Dax that got bleeded up?
Dax.
Dax, okay. So yeah, they did a little reverse on that one, but other than that, it's still a bloody match. It's still gross. It's disgusting. I don't want to see blood all over the wrestling scenes.
Yeah.
Them having to, Lysol the whole freaking wrestling ring once the match is over for sanitary purposes. Claudio Castagnoli, he's just really boring at this point. I mean, I used to like Claudio Castagnoli, but I'm just tired of him right now, and I'm just tired of him always doing the spin. I don't know. I just felt like this match wasn't really anything special. And I just wish that, I don't know, like FTR, that they could still win a few matches here and there. They don't have to win every single match, because obviously there's a risk that, might go to jail, and, they don't want to, like, what's going to happen if that stuff happens. But at least like in this pay-per-view, they could have still won this match.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the title wasn't on the line or anything anyway, so.
Yeah. I mean, it was just kind of dumb. I mean, why not? I mean, like you said, it could be punishment booking though.
Yeah. So Blackpool Combat Club won the match there. And
Yeah.
so how did that go? What was the over-under?
Okay, so for this one, everyone went for FTR except for Panda, who went for the Blackpool Combat Club. So he's the only one who got a point for that one.
There we go. So next one we had Timeless, Toni Storm with Mariah May and Luther going up against Deonna Purazzo, defending the AEW Women's World Championship. And I do like the thing, because a lot of the promo stuff was the whole, like, you used to be friends back in the day, but not anymore. And not only that, but Deonna is not used to Toni Storm with her current gimmick and all that. And it was kind of like, I like how I did that thing, because one of her promos was, when I go to the match, I want to fight against, like I don't want this timeless Toni Storm. I want to fight the Toni Storm that I used to know. So to make it cool is, the intro was Toni's older theme, and then you see, quote unquote, Toni Storm coming out with her, I guess, biker chick gimmick, or whatever you would call her older gimmick. But then you see that, some look kind of off, and it's Mariah May dressed up as Toni Storm. And then, of course, the real timeless Toni Storm comes out with the black and white stuff and Luther and all that. And I don't remember too much of the match other than that. I remember just, a bit technical here and there, because, of course, Deonna wants to get her an arm bar. I remember the thing where Toni's about to fall out, but Luther catches her. But I think Deonna, jumps out and knocks them both down and stuff like that. But other than that, I kind of think, did Mariah interfere near the end? I think she did. She kind of got in there and did something.
I don't remember. I hate to say it, but this match did not stand out very much for me.
I mean, I'm sure it was entertaining, because
it was alright.
Entertaining, but
it was alright.
But in terms of spots and things that are unforgettable or whatever, I guess
it was alright, but I don't remember
the downside of us doing the the reviews so many days later, and we have such busy weeks and all that. But well, either way, I do remember I was entertained. I do enjoy it, and it was cool seeing Deonna back in action. I haven't seen her in a long ass time. I know she's in TNA before, but I missed that run and everything. But Toni Storm retained. And I do like at the end, the posting, she was telling Mariah May how she was amazing. She was excellent. Oh, you're sensational, darling, and all that. And she was happy that she made her proud and everything. And it's funny because Toni complimented her look and everything, but she didn't acknowledge that that's her old look.
I didn't
She kept complimenting as if it was, I don't know, she was saying it's awesome and stuff, but she never mentioned at all that it's because of that's how I used to look. No, just it's awesome, it's amazing. I like that look for you and everything. It's just so weird, she really character wise, of course. She disassociate herself from her old self so much.
I just want to know what they're gonna do with Mariah May. I mean, she can't keep this gimmick up, forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, they have to put her against Tony or something.
Or give her matches or something. Because the thing is, she's supposed to be like a real good talented person.
Yeah,
So in other words, it's kind of like not as bad, but it's almost like the Jay White. They bring Jay White, he's badass, he's whatever, but they make him stuck with the scissor gang or whatever. So I mean, it's not as bad, but kind of sort of is. Or Mariah May's just stuck being Toni Storm's little stooge, little
her
banger
lackey kind of.
Well, she should be having her own bangers, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, she's having maybe like one or two matches that she's showing up.
Yeah, that's the downside of missing out stuff like AEW Dark and all of them. They should have brought her there a little bit to establish herself, do some moves, or give her if you don't want to do it in the main show, do it on Collision or something, but give her some matches so that the people that have never seen her before wasn't she like in Stardom or something like that? The people that are not familiar with her Stardom stuff, they can see what moves she has, and maybe make a storyline where Tony starts feeling a little bit jealous there, and she's thinking, hey, this girl's a little too big for her britches. Don't forget who's the star here, darling. Kind of start that. Oh yeah, you know what? That they should do that.
Yeah,
have a match of her going up against XYZ. I don't know. I was gonna say Riho.
No, but remember they did the other thing where Mariah May did have her match, but Tony didn't see it because she wanted to go off to New York, darling.
Yeah. So have one there. Have Mariah go against whoever, XYZ, and beat her and show off her skill, have the crowd really cheer and all that, and then have Tony be like downplaying it some or have like the interview or something where Mariah's all hyped up because she won. And have her be kind of like yes, it's so exciting but before she could talk, Tony's like, oh yes, but obviously because under my tutelage is what, and like just cutting her off and taking all the credit. He could kind of start the wedge there and
like Athena and Starks.
But done probably a bit more serious,
Yeah,
and then actually have that kind of thing where it's like, well, don't forget who's the star here, darling, and have her be, well, maybe I'm the star, and
I made you, darling.
Mm-hmm. That kind of thing. I mean, there we go. We can throw ideas too.
Yeah, I would say the match was all right. I mean, I didn't mind.
Right. Well,
that's much about it.
They hinted at the history between them, but they didn't use any of it or talk about any of it, which really pissed me off. Because like the thing that I personally was hyped for this because Toni Storm left Stardom. She was the top gaijin. She was the top foreigner in Stardom. She was she had won the SWA belt. She had won Cinderella tournament. She had won the world championship. She had, she pretty much was on top. At the same time, Deonna was in Stardom with her. And Deonna, I loved her. I thought she was great, but she just couldn't. She was always subjected to being like a second stringer. She was always like in faction. She was always in a tag team. She didn't really have an identity of her own. And so like I think of like her and Dakota Kai, they were both in that same way of they didn't really quite have an identity. In fact, they were known as I forgot what they were called. I think it was like the Sisters of Fate or something like that. It was a trio and it was honestly like one of the best trios I've ever seen in any wrestling group in Stardom. And it was Deonna Purazzo, Shayna Baszler, and who was Thunder Rosa. Those three were in the same faction together. So it was like really cool to see all three of them together. Like they had like the perfect chemistry between them. But it was like they could have used their history of like, hey, Toni was the top woman from Stardom at one point, and then she was misused in WWE, and then and then Deonna was misused in Stardom, went to the Indies, went to TNA, became the top woman in TNA repeatedly. Like she held the title. She was the first double champion, first Iron Woman of TNA. She was the first to hold the Knockouts title twice in a row. So like, yeah, she really established herself and she proved that she was the best technical women's wrestler on the planet. And you could have used that story between them to build up a story, but they didn't really do that. And then like hell, Mariah, they could have used Mariah as a storytelling device of being like, look, I came from Stardom. You both came from Stardom. You were both heroes of mine. So now I'm conflicted. Like, do I want to stick with Toni? Do I want to stick with Deonna? Who do I want to be with? You know? And it'd be like that kind of thing. Like, I don't know. Something like that. But there I go trying to do actual booking in around a guy who doesn't know anything about booking. But I was just really underwhelmed. I mean, the ending of the match had Deonna Purazzo have Toni Storm in the Venus de Milo, which he was in the middle of the ring. It was done. As soon as she gets you in the Venus de Milo, it's it. It's both arms, a double Fujiwara armbar in the middle of the ring, and then had her legs wrapped around her arm. There was no way for her to get out. And she was even tapping on her head, remember?
Oh.
And then Luther distracted the ref. Mariah May came out to try to like attack her, and then Deonna let go, took a swing at Mariah. Mariah went down, and then she turned around. Toni hit the Storm Zero, and that's how she won.
I remember that. I knew that she like interfered.
It was
somewhere.
yeah. Now that you say it, it's coming back to me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how she won. But it was like they could have used so much with that story, man. So much with that could have been built up. You have two of the best women to come out of Stardom, the two of the best foreigners to come out of Stardom. There's so much you can do with this, but it's like, I don't know. I don't have my hopes up. That's why when I found out Deonna went to AEW, I was like, wow, that's a waste. Poor thing. But here we are.
And again, I gotta agree with Jack on this one. If they would have showed more of the history between those two in Stardom, actually, to be brutally honest with you, if they would have showed any of the history between those two in Stardom, this match would have made more sense. It was more just of again, okay, here's a match. Why the match? Because race car. We don't know.
No. Hold on, Panda. Hold on, William. Why? Because we have to have an obligatory women's match. They had boobs. Put them together.
Exactly. And the part that really kills me about Toni Storm, I love her gimmick. I love the whole, black and white deal and all this other stuff. But when you're letting it overrun your actual talent as a wrestler, that's when it gets out of hand. Like, I saw too much gimmick and too little wrestling in that match from Toni Storm. Like, I remember her starter matches. It was nowhere near as concentrated or as focused wrestling-wise as they were in this AEW match. Like, to me, it was like she was fighting too hard with the gimmick as opposed to fighting with actually being a wrestler. And to me, that's where it just kind of fell off. Like, if you can't merge the two properly, then one just needs to just like fall by the wayside during the match. Even if you go back into character after the match, something. It was just, like the match generally went nowhere. It had no real story to it. It was, like Wendy said, oh, they have boobs. Let's just put them in the ring. That was pretty much it.
Johnny?
Yeah, I don't know. I think this match wasn't that great, and I mean, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't amazing either. Like, I don't know. It's just kind of like halfway there. But somebody that haven't really watched much how Deonna Purazzo fought, I would have actually liked to see her fight more in this match because she does seem very talented and she looks like a very, very good wrestler. So I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of Deonna Purazzo in this match. I think it's kind of like what Panda said. I think they focus a little too much on the timeless Toni Storm gimmick. And usually they don't really have a problem with that. They usually know how to kind of balance it out a little bit, like mixing up with that persona with her wrestling skills. But I think in this match in particular, I think they did focus a little too much on Toni Storm's old Hollywood gimmick. So maybe a little bit less of that, and the match would have been way better in my opinion.
Yep. So like we said before, Toni Storm did retain her title. And what did our people think here? What our buddies think?
All right, so for this one, the winner, those who would get a point for this would be Mark, Johnny, and William. The rest of us, me and Jack, we decided to be the contrarians and went for Deonna,
Mhm.
But we kind of made sense why she didn't win. But I just wanted to, try something a little different.
All right, guys. So the next match we had here, potential match of the night, we had Will Ospreay against Konosuke Takeshita, and yeah, it's a pretty intense match. They both gave it their all. I don't remember too many details except for one spot, of course, but lots of technique, lots of speed. Ospreay's amazing, very phenomenal wrestler and everything. The only thing that really got me, and it was like hard to watch, was near the kind of sort of end of the match. There was a part where Takeshita had Ospreay like on the, I guess, on the top or something, upside down, and dropped them backwards into the turnbuckle thing where it hit like the middle part of his back down there, and it was just so rough because it just left this real like dark, bruise there that was still there for the rest of the match. And I'm surprised Ospreay actually got up and still did a couple of things or whatever. And did he win it? I think he was the one that won.
Ospreay won.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
Ospreay
won.
won the match. So at the end when he beat him and everything, and I think what's his face? Fletcher showed up near the end just to kind of remind us that hey, he still works here. He's still part of the Callis family, the
United
Callis
Empire.
family.
Yeah.
And after he won, you do notice a lot that Ospreay's like, hey, I won, and he's like walking out and everything. But it looks kind of like, yeah, I don't think that's selling. You know what I mean? I think he really did got himself fucked up there. But that's the spot that I remember the most. So you guys can throw other details.
All right, this match, great. I would give it a 5 out of 5. I loved it. It was like, I love the fact that they could keep up with one another. And I like to catch them, but I just hate the way he's used. But I like to catch them. But putting them up against Ospreay, that was phenomenal. But that spot, I remember that spot that Mark was just talking about. I was wincing when I saw that. And there were a bunch of other moves that they did too that had me. It's like it was just so much. I can't even tell you, what was going on. But I will say to catch this match against Ospreay was great for the main reason that they can keep up with each other pacing wise. And I'm just thinking about that very sad match Takeshita had with Jericho. That was just and some of the other matches Takeshita.
You mean Ospreay, right?
Huh?
You mean the Ospreay match too? Don't forget about the Ospreay match at Wembley.
Oh,
like that Jericho couldn't keep up with that shit either.
No, Jericho just needs to stop. I know he just needs to stop. But I'm just thinking,
or just do like tag matches, multi-man matches, but not
singles. Yeah, no singles matches, no. Because I'm just thinking about Takeshita versus Jericho and how Takeshita had to pretty much slow his pace down so Jericho could keep up. So like what I'm seeing Takeshita versus Ospreay say, yes, we are finally seeing. As someone that maybe they'll watch the other stuff or never seen him in other promotions or like New Japan and all of that, we're saying, okay, this is his potential. This is the potential he has. Ospreay is letting that shine through. That's what Tony needs to do with his talent.
with action figures.
Oh yeah, with his action figures. Yeah.
This was hands down match of the night. And I knew it would be because, like I said, I knew it was going to be match of the night solely on the fact that these two have never worked together, and yet they're so similar. You have the ace of DDT Pro with Takeshita, and the former top gaijin of New Japan Pro. One-on-one, like, what could you not love about them? They're great, amazing wrestlers. Yeah, the spot you're referring to, yeah, Takeshita fucked that up like hard. The spot that they were planning on doing was essentially like a fireman's carry buckle bomb almost into the buckle, like the actual the ring, the turnbuckle.
Yeah.
But what Takeshita fucked up on, he didn't hit so the turnbuckle is like that. He didn't hit him on the turnbuckle. He hit him on the corner. So the actual metal went onto Will and almost sliced up his liver. That's why when it went straight down his lumbar, on his lower right of his lumbar where his hip is. That's why in the press conference he showed the scar. It was like a big scar. It went down with, and it was like starting to welt up. So yeah, he really fucked up that part. I loved seeing their back and forth, the good pacing. The one thing that I do think that people aren't given enough credit for, because here's the thing. It's easy to book two guys that are really, really, really fast, but it's the paces in between. It's the points in between, because you need to give your audience breathing room. If you don't, they're never going to catch their breath. They're never going to be able to focus. That's one of the reasons I have an issue with so many of the high flyers in AEW. Because if you book high flyer and 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 the crowd doesn't get a chance to breathe. You know? With these two guys, they're so quick. They're so athletic. They're so versatile in that ring. But it's the in-between moments. And it's a thing that Ospreay had to learn when he became a heavyweight, where it's you got to have a good pacing of it. And this was great pacing. It was great storytelling. I do honestly think that they had probably one of the best matches AEW's ever put on. Yeah, I think the only criticism I would say about this match is that it should have been for number one contenders. Honestly. Because the way they were fighting was almost like it was for a championship, but there was no title involved. That's the one downside I have about this match, is that they were wrestling with the intensity of a championship main event. But there was no championship. There was no stakes.
No personal beef or nothing.
No personal beef or nothing. Which, again, nothing wrong with that. But it just, part of me was like, in the back of my head, I'm like, this should be a title match. Like this is booked like a title match. This is booked like a main event. This should be a main event. You know what I mean? Like that's the only criticism, but that's not necessarily of either of them. Honestly, I'm so happy that Takeshita has stepped up and he's gotten better and better. Ospreay, I mean, Ospreay's new nickname is the World Breaker, and he's earned that title because every time he goes to a promotion, he literally proves that he's the best of everyone. And I'm like, yeah, that's why I love him. So like him and Josh Alexander, if you guys haven't seen, there's an Impact, the first TNA taping, the first one of the new era. The main event was Josh Alexander, Will Ospreay 2. Josh Alexander, one of the best technical wrestlers on the planet right now too. Watch it. You need to watch it. It is breathtaking how good it is. And that's what this match reminded me of that. Like watching these kind of matches is why I love wrestling. Like that's how much I like this match. So obviously match of the night, possibly match of the year. End of story.
I disagree with Jim Cryan on all fronts with this one.
All right. So yeah, I do agree. This was the match that probably made Dave Meltzer's eyeballs boil. Like this match was completely insane. To be brutally honest with you, I seriously thought that they screwed up and were showing us footage from like a Wrestle Kingdom or something like that, because this was definitely a match that a title should have been on the line, or a contender for a title should have been on a line with the way that they were wrestling. I mean, really good technical, really good reversals, really good aerial attacks. There was one spot where I think Takeshita had him set up for a power bomb, and Ospreay reversed it into a Styles Clash. Now that by far has got to be the most insane combo. Worse yet, the first time I think I've ever heard myself even say that in a sentence, that a move got reversed, a powerbomb got reversed into a Styles Clash. That's freaking insane. And that is the type of pacing, momentum, and the type of skill that needs to be shown more in this company, in their pay-per-views, hell, even in their regular shows. If that were to happen, the whole thing of us even talking about the differences between AEW, WWE, and all these other guys, that would be completely thrown out of the window if they would bring this type of product at a constant. And these guys definitely brought it. And this for the most part was a nonsensical match. There was no beef between the two. There was no titles on the line. There was nothing. It was just Don Callis was like, all right, I present to you these guys and go. And they had an incredible match. Now, given Will Ospreay can literally call himself a pain in the ass after what happened with the turnbuckle, but still, overall, fantastic match. I definitely give that 5 stars. If that wasn't the match of the night, then somebody's gone blind. That's all I got on that.
By the way, I will say Meltzer's star rating is now officially bullshit because his star rating is so uncredible. Like, he doesn't even know what he thinks. He gave, I'm actually looking at it for Revolution. He gave the Christian Cage match, the Timeless Toni Storm match, and this match all the same star rating.
Oh, wow. What did he say was the best of the night? Like, the highest rated one?
He didn't say there was one. He said there was no match.
I mean, out of the star ratings, which one?
Actually, oh, wait, no. You know what he said was there was only one 4-star match, and he gave it to Roderick Strong and Cassidy. Yeah, exactly. I know.
Watch out for the figures. Watch out for Goku Black and all them.
Sorry, Goku.
I just saw it right now. I'm like, what? Are we watching the same thing?
I guess some people, I don't know, they're just their mind's not in the right place, because this was definitely one of the best match. I would dare to say the best match of the whole pay-per-view.
Dave Meltzer's a jackass.
Period. Despite the fact that this is a match that doesn't have like an actual like storytelling, from a huge storytelling perspective, they just put, Will Ospreay versus Takeshita, and they're both extremely talented. I mean, they do have a history. And I believe they both in New Japan, right? Jack Snipes. Like,
What
they both
was the
come
question?
from New Japan's wrestling. They both came from that company, right?
No. No. Only Ospreay came from New Japan.
Okay.
Takeshita came from DDT Pro, which is a very, very, very small subsidiary Japanese wrestling promotion. They're more comedy style wrestling. What's his name? But Kenny, a lot of good
Kenny
wrestlers
Omega
have come
versus
from
the
there.
Sex Toy.
Kenny Omega versus the Sex Toy. You've probably seen that. That was in DDT Pro. Kenny Omega came from the DDT Dojo. Kota Ibushi came from the DDT Dojo.
Then Priscilla
Takeshita.
he also came from DDT Pro, I think.
Yep. A lot of here's the thing. It's every Japanese promotion, even the worst ones, they do have to show you the ropes before you ever get in the ring. So it's kind of more of like how they book you really just depends on where you go. It's kind of like, think of it in the same way that you could be the best football player or whatever in college. You'd be top of your sport, but it's not really going to matter if you're the best football player in college when you get drafted to the Miami Dolphins, because no one gives a shit about the Dolphins. It's like cool. It's like, man, I've harnessed my skills. I've done everything. Great. Can you mop? Welcome to Disneyland. Like that's it. It's kind of the equivalent of that. But the thing of it is, I will say, Takeshita, legit, he's legit. I'll give him kudos. But no, to answer your question, no, they don't come from the same company. But that's one of the reasons I was hyped for this, because they've never fought each other, which is crazy. They've never even been in the same ring together, which is really crazy. Like as far as like a wrestling match.
Oh, okay, that makes it even more interesting, actually. But
Okay, see.
according, you know, the way AEW had this match booked is kind of like, you know, they just decided to put Will Ospreay to cash out just for the sake of it. But it actually came out like a very good match, and I'm actually glad that this is like the rare instance where AEW is actually using Will Ospreay correctly, and I really hope they keep going in this direction. They better not mess that one up, because
Yes.
Yeah, because remember, whenever Jay White like gets pissed off and goes to WWE, there's gonna be an opening in this Bang Bang Scissor Gang.
Oh Lord, no.
But yeah, hopefully with Will Ospreay that they'll keep promoting him correctly. They won't mess him up, because that man is pure talent, and it would be a major disservice if they mess that up.
Well, in Dynamite, we're gonna see Ospreay versus Fletcher, so we'll see how that goes.
Actually, I find that kind of interesting. I want to see how that match would go, actually.
Mm.
I mean, they also do have good chemistry, because they also have good chemistry, him and Kyle Fletcher, because they are originally from United Empire together, so they have that kind of history together.
Mm.
So yeah, that could be good.
So like we said, Ospreay won the match. So how do we go?
Everybody with Ospreay, so everyone gets a point.
There we go.